Title: The Crimson Cipher. Detective Adrian Cross had seen his fair share of brutal crimes, but nothing compared to the case that landed on his desk that rainy September morning. A renowned journalist, Lillian Drake, had been found dead in her upscale Manhattan apartment, her body staged like a grotesque puzzle. The most chilling detail? A cryptic cipher etched into her skin with surgical precision. As Cross delves into Lillian's past, he discovers she was investigating a high-profile corruption case involving influential figures. The deeper he digs, the more the shadows close in around him. Every lead he follows either vanishes or turns up dead. With an elusive killer always a step ahead, Adrian must decipher the message left on Lillian's body before he becomes the next target. But the cipher isn't just a clue, it's an invitation. And someone is watching. Cross stood in Lillian Drake's apartment, the scent of blood still fresh in the air. The crime scene unit moved around him, flashing cameras capturing every gruesome detail. He crouched beside the body, his gloved fingers tracing the intricate markings carved into her skin. Numbers, symbols, something familiar yet indecipherable. Detective Cross. A voice broke his focus. It was Officer Ryan Hale, his longtime partner. Her laptop is missing, but we found a hidden recorder under her desk. Looks like she was expecting trouble. Cross took the recorder, flipping it on. Static filled the air before Lillian's voice emerged, hushed but determined. I'm close, they know I know. If anything happens to me, the answer is in the cipher. A chill ran down his spine. This wasn't just murder, it was a message. Someone wanted to silence her, but they had also left him a challenge. He had no choice but to play along. The first step was decoding the cipher. But to do that, he needed an expert, and he knew exactly where to find one. Cross drove through the dimly lit streets to the Upper West Side, where Dr. Evelyn Carter lived. A renowned cryptologist, she had worked with the FBI on numerous cases. He knocked on her door, and after a tense moment, she answered, eyes wary. Detective Cross? She asked. What brings you here at this hour? A cipher, he said, showing her a photograph of the markings on Lillian's body. I need to know what it means. Evelyn's face paled. This isn't just a message, it's a warning. And if you're here, that means whoever did this is watching. She led him inside, locking the door behind them. As she studied the symbols, she muttered under her breath. This is an ancient code, but it's been altered. Someone wanted to make sure only the right person could read it. After hours of analysis, Evelyn pieced together part of the message. Its coordinates. They lead to an abandoned warehouse near the docks. Cross felt a knot form in his stomach. If Lillian had been investigating corruption, this might be where she found her proof, or where she was silenced. The warehouse. Under the cover of darkness, Cross and Hale arrived at the location. The warehouse was cold, silent, but something felt off. As they entered, the scent of mildew mixed with something more sinister. Gunpowder. A single desk sat in the center, a laptop humming softly on top. Cross approached, clicking the touchpad. A video file played instantly, showing Lillian in her final moments. If you're watching this, it means I didn't make it, she said, voice trembling. The corruption runs deeper than I thought. I have proof, but I couldn't get it out. The real threat is... A shadow loomed behind her. A gloved hand yanked her out of frame. The screen went black. Then, a voice behind them. Detective Cross, you should have walked away. Cross spun around just as masked figures emerged from the shadows, guns drawn. The truth unveiled, bullets flew. Cross and Hale dove for cover, returning fire. The warehouse became a war zone. As the dust settled, Cross managed to subdue one of the attackers, unmasking him. It was someone he knew, Captain Howard Briggs, his superior officer. Briggs? Cross gasped. You were behind this? Briggs smirked. You never knew when to stop digging. Lillian got too close. So did you. Before Briggs could fire, Hale tackled him. A struggle ensued, ending with Cross knocking Briggs unconscious. Disappearances. The aftermath, with Briggs arrested and the evidence recovered from the warehouse, the corruption scandal unraveled. High-ranking officials were exposed, and Lillian's work finally saw the light of day. Standing by her grave a week later, Cross whispered, You got the truth out, Lillian. You won. As he turned to leave, a cold feeling crept over him. Across the cemetery, a figure in a black coat watched him, before vanishing into the mist. The case was closed, but the shadows never truly disappeared. As Cross tried to move on, he received an anonymous envelope with a single line of text. The cipher was only the beginning. Inside, a photograph of a new victim, carved with similar markings, sent a shiver down his spine. Evelyn called him that night, her voice shaken. Cross, there's something we missed. The cipher wasn't just coordinates, it's a sequence, a countdown. Rushing back to Evelyn's apartment, they uncovered a second layer to the code. It pointed to a secret underground network, operating in the shadows of high society. Lillian had barely scratched the surface. Cross and Evelyn found themselves being followed, their phones hacked, their homes searched. Someone powerful didn't want them to continue. A desperate informant reached out, an ex-government agent named Marcus Voss. He revealed the existence of the Order, an elite group that had manipulated political and financial landscapes for decades. As Cross and Evelyn dug deeper, they realized the corruption extended to global influence. Intelligence agencies, corporations, even law enforcement. Briggs was just a pawn. A second murder mirrored Lillian's, another journalist, another cipher. Cross and Evelyn raced against time, piecing together the final clue before more lives were lost. Their investigation led them to an abandoned asylum, where records of the Order were hidden. But someone was waiting for them. The mastermind, unseen until now, revealed himself in the shadows. Detective, you've come too far. There's no turning back. A final confrontation loomed, one that would decide whether Cross lived or joined Lillian in silence.